Well, let's start with something good, right? Trump's horrible nominee for Secretary of Labor, Andy Puzder, withdrew his name from nomination. That's right. The CEO of Hardee's and Carl's Jr. is out. He's out. And of course, Trump has already found someone else who probably also wants to do to the American workforce what Hardee's does to your intestinal tract. Just destroy it. Puzder, like many CEOs, wants to get rid of all workers and replace them with robots. He said, robots are always polite. They always upsell. They never take a vacation. They never show up late. There's never a slip and fall or an age or sex or race discrimination case. Yes, CEOs want robots to replace us so that they can be racist to them. They have their fingers crossed. They'll soon have a robot that's totally cool with being called the N-word. And also, though, I did once bring a sexual harassment suit against a robot, all right? Every time I'd bend over in the kitchen, my smart coffee pot would tell me to shake it, and it was very traumatic. It was. I mean, I learned later it meant the filter was jammed, but still, it was weird. But there's a larger issue here than just Puzder. What about our system allowed a guy like that, a guy like Trump, a guy like Rex Tillerson to get to the top of it? Well, the higher-ups at most corporations make a lot of money by paying their employees as little as possible. So those employees need assistance, right? Some need welfare and food stamps. They need Medicaid and public housing. Their kids may end up dumb because their parents were so busy working for pennies, they weren't around to teach them things like math and science and don't trust strangers offering candy and never take a whiz on an electric fence, right? Ren and Stimpy tried to pick up the slack, but it was too late. It was too late. Many a child had his grundle seared off. But the harm doesn't end there. Fast food causes diabetes, right? And heart disease, and it causes depression and loneliness because no one wants to sleep with someone who smells like a rancid Baconator sandwich. I mean, look how lonely Mitch McConnell is. He is. And he's gonna be lonely a long time because turtles can live hundreds of years. But the harm of fast food doesn't end there. Animal agriculture is the #1 cause of greenhouse gases and therefore climate change. There's insane amounts of pollution from factory farms, destroying our fresh water, causing ocean dead zones, creating pig shit lagoons like this one. Well, that one too, but I actually meant the other ones. There, those. That's a real image of the results of factory farming. And animal agriculture water consumption ranges from 34 to 76 trillion gallons a year. But you wouldn't know any of this if you just go by the happy, fluffy TV version of animal agriculture. That's actually Sean Spicer inside there. That's how he preps for a press conference. Anyway, all of this is called externalizing costs. Big word, big phrase. I only learned it a few weeks ago, but now I'm using it to feel smarter than you. Externalizing costs is when aspects of production are paid for by someone else, usually the people of this country. We pay, they profit. The true harm of fast food is externalized. The benefits, the profit is internalized. The higher-ups get very rich. They don't get a bill in the mail for ocean dead zones or climate change-caused droughts or for pig shit lagoons. Also, Paul Ryan's nickname in high school. Many corporations even manage to avoid paying taxes using loopholes. We pay, they profit. These externalized costs amount to subsidizing by the government. We, the taxpayer, subsidize these corporations, such as McDonald's or Walmart or ExxonMobil. Right now, a McDonald's hamburger costs 98 cents. A bottle of water costs like $2. How could a water cost more than fried cow rectum? It doesn't make any logic. Cow rectum doesn't fall from the sky. It did once, but that was the day Kellyanne Conway was born, and it was some sort of biblical plague, evil omen thing, so that doesn't count, really. If McDonald's or Hardee's wasn't subsidized, if they had to pay for all the harm created by factory farming, researchers came up with the figure that that burger should cost $200. $200. That's roughly $200 more than we actually pay for that hamburger. Of course, Hardee's or McDonald's couldn't stay in business like that. But if they have a model that is so destructive that the real cost forces it out of business, then it should be out of business. But instead, we pay and they profit. And it's not just fast food. A report by the International Monetary Fund found that the world is subsidizing fossil fuels at the rate of $10 million per minute, which is $5.3 trillion per year. That's more than all spending on healthcare by the world's governments combined. And seeing as fossil fuels are literally killing our ability to survive on this planet, we are subsidizing our own death at a rate of $5.3 trillion a year. But you do have to admit, once we're all dead, the traffic on the Beltway is gonna be much better. Man, just open roads. It's gonna be great. Seriously, we pay taxes to make sure our government keeps paying ExxonMobil and Shell and BP to keep killing us. Not to mention, at $5.3 trillion a year, you would think Exxon could afford to carry a gas station chicken fried steak that wasn't so gamey. You know, it's very chewy. We pay, they profit. And in case you didn't realize this was going on for the past 40 years, now the head of ExxonMobil is Secretary of State. They weren't happy just controlling the government, they wanted to be the government. You know, you cut out the middleman. There's fewer phone calls if you just destroy everything directly. It's a lot less work. We also subsidize the big banks to make sure they can keep exploiting us and gambling with our money. Bloomberg reported the top 5 banks would just about break even in the absence of billions of dollars of corporate welfare. In large part, the profits they report are essentially transfers from taxpayers to their shareholders. In other words, the US taxpayers are paying big banks to put the economy in danger. In Creating Freedom, author Raul Martinez points out, externalizing cost is a form of theft. It is taking something for nothing and leaving others to foot the bill. This is what corporate totalitarianism looks like. The corporate interests have taken over the state, and they use it to exploit us and extract all the wealth and resources. We pay, they profit. We as a society could be subsidizing other things. We could be quickly subsidize the switch to clean energy. We could subsidize health care for all. We could subsidize healthy food instead of heart disease. We could subsidize hot dogs for the hungry and hand jobs for the lonely. We could. And we could subsidize some kind of sensitivity training for my coffee pot. It's very hurtful.